Yeah, exactly.
Right. All right. Hello, Studio 108 Seekers and Sages. I'm excited to sit down today with my friend, Emi Coffman. She just brought this amazing show and tell. So if you practice here, then perhaps you've met Emi. She kind of drives the distance to come up. She teaches in the green area at Release Yoga. And she has a beautiful project started out in Mineral Ridge, Lake Milton, Ohio. Lake Milton. And she comes up, she practices Kundalini with us. She did teacher training here. And I'm just excited and inspired every time I chat with her. She just has a very unique perspective and some really exciting topics that she is studying and exploring. So you can't see here like on the floor, but she has this whole layout, and these are tuning forks that not everyone in our community uses or knows or understands. So I wanted to sit with Emi today and hear a little bit about her story, and then have her show and tell us some things about this study she's doing. So, oh my gosh, I can't stop staring at them. They're so beautiful.
Yes, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. So, Emi, tell us about yourself. Where are you from, and how did you kind of like come into yoga in this whole conversation?
So I think, I was born into learning to yoga, but I think everybody does, because yoga means just reunited or united, but we have to reunite it with our soul first, because as soon as we became into a physical body, we forget. We have the soul, right?
Yeah, we forget.
And
we feel separate.
Yeah, so it's like a yoga's practice is not only the physical practice, but more like a mental practice to searching who you are, who I am. And this idea was taught by my grandma when I was young, but I never understood when I was with her in this three-dimensional world. She's still hanging around somewhere.
Hovers,
Yes, but I can't see.
Hi, Grandma.
I can see her as a physical body. But so I was raised in Japan, in mountain area near the Mount Fuji, and in a small town called Kofu, and it's in the bottom of the basin, and 360-degree surrounded by a mountain.
Wow.
Yeah, second top and topest mountain in Japan.
Yeah, the very tallest.
Yeah, within my area. So, and my area is famous for the harvesting the minerals and those gems.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was actually breathing into those gems air, I guess, when I was young. And yeah, and my grandma was apparently she was doing Reiki healing for the community, but back then she didn't mention it's Reiki.
Understood. So she was an energy healer.
Yes.
But she didn't label it that?
No. And most of the people who does Reiki doesn't say, they don't have this like a container. Gotcha. But they already have it, because Reiki everybody has it, right?
Right.
And you're just forming it to use it.
Got you.
Yes.
Okay, so you're saying that in Japan, Reiki is very accepted, and like everybody just does Reiki, but it's not really commercialized where you put a sign up that says, we do Reiki here, $60 an hour.
That's right, that's right.
It's just a part of the lifestyle and the culture.
Yeah, and all the mother is touching kids, and before, if you have a tummy upset, they are just touching and moving hands like a digestion system. So right side is going up to ascendant.
Yes.
Left side is descendant. So we do, and people are doing this naturally, even though Western people, right?
Right.
And this is basically the Reiki technique to, calm
the digestion and calm
yourself. And so, but we think hands has a special power to heal people. So it's called, we say teate. Te means hand, teate means that just putting it on it. So it's basically the Reiki, and people are, naturally touching.
Right.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're on the podcast, she's moving her hand in a circle around on her abdomen, and she's following the track of the intestines. So up the right side, across the low rib area, down the left side, and then across the low belly. That's the direction of the digestion system. And so tell me again, the hand is called what?
Te.
Te. And then to place on is
Ate.
Ate.
So teate.
Teate.
And also teate means not healing, the curing, or when doctor is taking care of someone, we say doctor does teate to the patient.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So there's that recognition even without really calling it Reiki. It's an interesting thing, like what is a part of a culture, and then we don't really see our culture as so commoditized. Like, I don't know if that's a word. Like, we don't appreciate how much of our culture, how much we have made a commodity out of things that might be just naturally a part of.
Yes, my perspective, Japanese point of view, outsider as a point of view, people here creates a form or a container first,
right,
and try to fill the things in.
Gotcha.
But in Japan, especially my grandma's community, I think this culture is gone already. But when I was young and surrounded my grandma and her friends, people just having things, and the container or the shape was created naturally around.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's the difference. But when we are try to export the idea, especially the language and culture is taking a lot of part for that. And if you don't understand the culture, actually culture is almost like a soaking into your system, body system, not try to understanding.
Right. You just assimilate it as part of your growing up, and it's, so it's like the subconscious patterning is really.
So when we are exporting, especially the Reiki was exported to Hawaii first. And so Western or English point of view or English shape of mind, we started to create the form first and bring it, and adding the things, and so the first initiation, what's the symbol, but those symbols actually when I had a Reiki attunement, I saw symbol and I realized that it's those symbols, paper of the symbols hanging out in my childhood house around. So
so grandma had those symbols and they were just a part of the culture. I think that's really I like that you're using the word container, because that's really the truth of it. Like, there's a difference between just growing up and assimilating that culture and it's just the way things are, versus we're going to take a class and we're going to learn about something in a book, or we're going to take a training and we're going to acquire it, right? And that's a whole different relationship with it.
Yes. So I think the thing is where you start or where you are looking at first.
Yeah.
From inside or from outside.
Interesting.
Yeah. And when I'm teaching yoga, I always realize people are more conscious about what's the container of the shape. And but those shapes are different, depends on people's structure of the bone. So I instruct more likely to feel the inside. And even though your shoulder is not totally above your hip bone, some people can't, have the posture. So just feel it.
Right. No, I think that's true. And I think the more embodied we get in our asanas, the more we understand what's on the inside. the external shape creates itself, exactly what you said, you know, like the container creates itself once you are like increased awareness and increased self-relationship
right.
with the container and an understanding of that. Super interesting. I want to look back because I think I heard you say that the culture in Japan has changed very much.
A lot.
A lot. Like you just went on a visit.
Yes. So I left Japan 1997. And since then, I went back quite a lot. But the last 3 years, because of the COVID, I couldn't go there. So I visited this April, and it was like, it's been 3 years, almost 3 years since I visited there. And first I realized the energy of the land was so weakening. Oh. And normally, if I traveled with the airplane and going down towards the airport, I start to pick the energy from the land and get into my body, and my body got so hot and releasing other tears. Right. But this year it didn't happen. Yeah. So I was like, I didn't feel anything. Then once I get out of the airport, actually I went through like 3 hours of testing and COVID testing and showing the document and having a question to answering to the question. Then after 3 hours, I got out of the airport and everybody was wearing a masks, even though it's not mandatory. People are so afraid of the COVID. And I was wearing masks for like entire airplane trip. So I just took off and everybody looking at me like, what is she doing? But actually the breeze is the exchange of the silence communication. And I think people lost that communication unconsciously. Gotcha. And that's like
interesting.
Connecting people.
Interesting. So, like, do you think it's in the prana, it's in the breath, or do you think it's in the vibration of the sound?
Both.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yes, and the people's vibration is kind of low.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and
well, the vibration can be low from the fear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the concern, we close off, we get tight. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that I was, but also the culture is really, really getting to be like Americanized in a good way or bad way, I don't know. I can't say. But so people more likely to see outside and forget to see what's inside. So people talking about like when you go to the college, you're talking about how much you can make money after you graduate from this college, and not talking about what kind of education you really want to soak into, but more likely to create the container.
Yeah, and you've probably noticed this, like, because you've been back and forth.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I had a question in just a second.
But anyway, and the other thing is I saw so many natures were destroyed. And even though I went to Mount Kurama, which is a very quite famous mountain for the Reiki practitioner, the Mr. Usui, who started Reiki, started to talking about Reiki, was trained in that mountain for quite a long time. So I visited that mountain, and in each mountain or each shrine or each temples, we have so many things, shrines, temples, and we don't know what's the religion because everything is mixing up, and it's a culture.
What is the what?
Religion.
What religion it is?
Yeah,
it's all
because
kind of just the culture.
Yeah, the Christianity to me has a special strong container of the shape, but the Buddhism and the Shintoism, we are mixing all together, juggling.
Yes.
So we don't know what's the god for, which god is for what.
Yeah.
But we are just, just having a lot of friends. That's what we are. But anyway, so in the Mount Kurama, there is a temple and shrine too. And each temples or shrines, we have a big mother tree called Goshinboku, which is the god or all the knowledge is contained in the tree.
Okay, so each temple or shrine has one special tree.
Yeah.
And it's a certain kind of a tree?
No, it's just a tree sitting there for a long time.
Gotcha.
And actually, temples or shrines may pick the place by the trees.
Interesting. Yeah. So that tree's been there a really long time.
Mhm.
What's the name of the tree?
Goshinboku, which
Goshinboku.
means, Goshin means the god,
Uh-huh.
Boku means the tree, so god of the tree, or tree of the god tree.
So like the tree is the living.
Yeah, so it's like a life, tree of the life, or no.
Tree of life?
Something like the tree has every knowledge.
Understood.
Yes.
Okay.
And on the top of the Mount Kurama, there is a big, that was a cedar tree, maybe about like more than 1,000 years old, was felled. So I talked to the person who was taking care of the mountain. He was right there to taking care of the nature that day. So I asked him what happened, and this was fallen by the hurricane 2016. So the energy of the land is definitely weakening. So they can't hold the tree anymore.
Interesting.
And if the hurricane came, the tree fell down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was really sad when I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not only that mountain, so many mountains lost the trees. Also, I don't know why people are cutting down. Yeah.
Are they harvesting by the land?
I don't know. They just said some people said because of the 5Gs, it's distracting the 5Gs. So they are cutting down.
Gotcha.
But to me, the trees are sending more important message than 5G.
Yeah.
So I was really sad, and I talked to my friends, but people are dealing with Japanese economy went down so significantly since late 1990s. So people's life is getting harder, and so most of the my friends are working so hard and didn't pay attention to those nature, what the nature tells you. But also my grandma told me about how you read the nature. So I have kind of like an advantage to connect to the nature.
Your grandma was like a medicine woman.
I believe she was
like a shaman
or something.
Yeah, she was like a shaman. And I know your family had a prominent business. And so, that's beautiful.
Yes, my father, my mother.
Opportunities and education and stuff.
Yes, my father, my mother had a family business, and so while they are making money for me to, going into somewhere, my grandma was taking care of me.
Yeah.
Yes. And we had a small land on the mountaintop. So we hiked to that mountain every day with my grandma, and she was farming, and I was just playing around, and there is a spring coming a little bit above our property. So I go to there and I prayed with the water. I like to touching my fingers in the cold spring water. Yes.
It's so pure.
Yes.
I love that. That's beautiful. Well, I think that's probably what inspired you to get this land in Finland, right?
Yes. So that land is flat, and it's been I think it's been some farming land.
It probably had been farmed.
Yeah,
land,
so I'm
yeah.
trying to revitalizing
Uh-huh.
the nature right now. And also last month I went to Japan and I met very interesting and at the same time weird guy. He talks about the fairies on the trees,
Okay.
mountains, because Japan is a mountain country, so he is climbing a mountain like every weekend, and he's talking to the fairies in the mountain.
Okay.
And what he is weird is about is he's bringing those fairies with him and use for the healing the people.
For healing people.
So I went to meet him.
Yeah.
And he said, while we are having a conversation, I brought several fairies from the mountain, and they are just going into your body system and start to adjusting your body. So
you were like, okay. No, I see what you're saying. He was very interesting, but kind of weird. Okay.
So
He's like, okay, fairies.
So Fairy was, while I was talking with him, Fairy was getting in my body system and just taking care of me. And he said they immediately went to your kidney. So they are just, cleansing your kidney. So just leave them alone. And what's your issue? And I said, I don't have issue, but maybe you see my issue.
You're like me. It's like, I don't think I have an issue, but if I do, I want it taken care of. Take care of it.
And he said, I have like a 4 knives stuffed in my fourth aura.
In your first aura.
Fourth. It's connecting to the heart chakra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So in your fourth aura, like the aura around your heart, you had 4 knives. Interesting.
Yeah, and he told me think about 2010. And I immediately came up one guy's face and he said he was the one who stopped the knife, but he didn't have any issue with you. He was the person who always slow the knife because he hates the community or society.
Yeah.
And you are just happen to be there.
Yeah.
But the very beautiful.
Did the fairies take care of the knives?
The very beautiful way he delivered to deal with this is, we are not taking this out. You are just melting into your body system.
Oh.
So you have an ability to use your energy to melt it. So if you take it out, you are actually taking that knife to someone else.
Yeah.
So he said, you want to finish this karma circle.
Yes. You transmuted it.
So he told me, anything happened to you, if you did same thing or like have some emotion to that, actually you are creating new karma.
Right.
So in order to finishing this karma or finishing this samsara.
Exactly, the cycle of it.
Yes.
Right.
You actually eaten up, or in this case, just melting into your system. So it's like an alchemy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. One time someone used the word, instead of karma, with karma, it was around this idea of karma, she used the word reverberation. It's like, if you pull the knife out, you're continuing reverberation. You're taking another action on it. Yes. But if you just draw it in and transmute it, if you energetically, work with it and create this alchemy where it changes its nature, then there's no more reverberation.
That's right. And
there's no more cycle.
Actually, we use our fire energy to make it into something more like a useful.
Yes.
Or maybe for the protection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Recycle.
Yeah.
Reuse.
So there are so many weird people in Japan.
There are so many weird people here,
including me.
Exactly.
It really makes sense, and it gives a solution to not creating another issue.
And I think that what I feel happens is that we're coming to more sophisticated, higher maturity understandings. Okay, so maybe in the 80s or in the 90s, we would be of the understanding that we remove the knife. But now we've evolved and we have like a higher way of looking at it, a more mature way of looking at it, and we can assimilate it and we can transmute it and like repurpose it as an energy and not take it so personally.
Yeah, or maybe the jewelry so you can wear it.
Or maybe into jewelry, so we can like have more glitter in our we could just be sparkling princesses because aren't we? Yeah, I love that. I love that.
So he was really interested guy.
Yeah.
And he is talking about, and he said, I can create my land to make a fairy land, but you have to plant the tree because those fairy likes to living in a tree woods, and you maybe want to have some part designated to a fairy, so you are not getting in so often. So maybe like he recommended me to do a fairy tea party on the spring equinox and the fall equinox.
Yeah. Now, did you bring fairies back from the mountains in Japan?
I don't know.
Feel like you had to get your own fairies?
They are with me. Yeah. I don't know. But he said if you create it, things are coming in, and it's also the when you create the shape and inviting, and often times I tell people in my yoga class, if you create the right alignment, right energies getting in, that's why the physicality is so important. Some people are getting into too much physical, some people are going into too much spiritual, but actually we need to balance it.
We need to integrate. And we need to integrate it. I know when in teacher training we talked about like that, those channels coming up and down, like we need our inspiration, but we also need our physical capacity to just anchor things in. Well, I know you're doing really exciting things with the tuning forks.
Yes.
I can't wait to come out to your land. Just like I want to come out to your land to see the fairies. Okay, so that's it. Okay.
Yeah. So I studied about the tuning forks because of another Japanese weird person.
Don't call them weird. They're very talented.
They are very interesting, but they are all, I think, channeling to something, and
these are higher technologies coming in.
So these are I have like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right now, but those are the tuning forks, and this person, actually I got to know him on YouTube. He was just banging his tuner fork to the camera and telling this is the Earth tuner and this is a cosmic tuner, and but he picked the best quality, the company which can make the best quality of the tuner, and he picks the one person to trust his ear. So everything is entirely hand finished. They use the module, but at the last minute, they are just one person is just brushing to tune into the right.
So it's a really an art.
It's an art, and each one has a serial number.
Gotcha.
And actually, this person is astronomy reader,
astrologer,
astrologist. Yes, and also so he's studying about the vibration or frequency a lot. And when we talk about study, means he's connecting to the something.
Right.
And also he studied about the gematria. Do you know gematria or Kabbalah numbers?
Yes.
So Kabbalahs are using lots of numbers for the connecting to the cosmic or know the secret of this world.
Yes,
So he's using those numbers too.
I understand.
Mhm.
Interesting.
And
So let's be quiet for a moment so you can play one of these so the people on the podcast can hear. So Emi's got 8 different tuning forks. Some are gold, one is blue, some are silver.
yes. So this
And
is 528.
528 is the frequency of what?
Frequency of the fixing your broken DNA.
Okay.
Also, this is very famous for any university. Most of the people know about the power of 528.
They do. That's why I thought
Mhm.
maybe if you explain it
Yeah.
for the people that don't.
I hope this.
I hope you can hear it. So
Yeah.
hit it one more time.
Yeah. So this sound is known as fixing your broken DNA, but also connecting to the cosmic energy. But any frequency which is right is connecting to the cosmic energy.
Right, because the cosmic energy is a band of frequency.
Mhm.
It's not just one
Yes,
frequency.
it's
So-
like an orchestra.
Yes,
Right.
and so it's
Mhm.
instead of like right, maybe like aligned. So
Mhm.
different frequencies are going to align
Mhm.
for different qualities.
Yes, I think so. I can't, it's still my study.
Yes.
But also, this one was told, many people claim this is similar energy the sun is providing.
Mhm.
So this can get into our solar plexus quite
Okay.
easily.
Okay.
This can immediately go into here.
Right.
Yeah, that's what some people claimed. But anyone who I occasionally be asked, I want to have tuna folk like you, and I said, go study. And but if you really want to have one, 528 is a safe
Yes.
for to
Yes.
use.
Yes.
Mhm. But everything else, I don't recommend to just, grab it and.
Well, I want to hear all of them.
But so this one, 128. So this is do you know the Earth frequency, the Schumann resonance?
Yes, the Schumann
So
resonance.
that's Earth, Mother Earth is pulsing,
Right.
and that's 7.8 and
Right.
but I just say 7.8.
Yeah, because it's a long stream of numbers. It's like
Mhm.
pi.
Yes.
It's a long stream of numbers. And the Schumann resonance is the vibrational frequency of the planet Earth.
Mhm.
And the Schumann resonance has been increasing in frequency.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And so this one is 16 times of 7.8.
Oh, okay.
So 7.8, we are not able to feel or hear anything.
Right.
So it's multiplying, and eventually the 16 times of 7.8 was recognized to can hear. So.
Oh, you guys, this is super interesting. Because when she hits the tuning fork, the frequency is a very high pitched, like little bell. But when you put that close to my ear, what I hear is like a deeper, more resonant vibration.
And maybe you might feel it right here. Because our network of the neurology system is going all over the place.
Right, you can feel it throughout your neurology of your whole body.
Yes.
And I did, I felt it all the way down to my feet.
And this vibration wants to go back to the Mother Earth.
It wants to come down.
Yeah.
So this is one for like draining energy.
So this is like a grounding. And so then 432 is also very, very controversial.
Controversial. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Well, if you hit that one, does it sound different by my ear than it does? Yeah, it does. So fascinating.
So 432 used to be the tuning sound for A
Yeah,
above the middle C
yeah,
until before 1910.
yes.
In 1910, the American Music Society or Association changed A equal 440.
Right. So what she's talking about is the frequency of the note A. So when you go to the orchestra and you hear "Rrr," and everybody starts tuning around the common note, that's like violins playing the A, and all the instruments tune so that they are like in tune for the concert, so that the music sounds its best.
Yeah.
So that A used to be 432 hertz, and in 1910. It was changed to 440 hertz. Who initiated? There's like all this controversy around it because some people feel like it was changed in order to create dissonance in the listener's ear, and it was changed globally.
Yes, and by 1948, Europe changed. But European musicians are fighting against for a long, long time. Eventually, the big money moved into the music association, and they couldn't deny to change from 432 to 440. So,
well, and I will say that now there is quite a movement of people who are recording music at the original hertz, who will tune their A to 432, and they're creating new music as a part of their offering for repairing some of the deadened energy, some of the compromised energy of the past 100 and some years. Yeah.
Yes, and so I'm gonna go a little bit of like jumping into this.
Okay, right. Okay, so what do you use your 432?
So 432 is actually the cosmic, the center of the cosmic energy.
Okay.
So this person told me when I was interested about this, he said, by 528 and also set of this, because this is cosmic energy, this is Earth energy. So you are creating the axis. Yeah. And actually he said he's not a yoga practitioner, but very interesting thing is he said human as on Mother Earth, our job is bring the cosmic energy down into the ground and also bring the ground energy to release into the cosmic. So this is like a human is here above is 432, below is 7.8, but this is 108.28 in order to us to hear or feel. So it's like in yoga, we are standing between sky and ground. That's what Iyengar said.
Yes,
right?
Yes, he did. And like I feel I've worked with people who have talked about that before, like our human body's role on the earth and the way that we can, as a human body, support the earth.
So Earth needs the energy from the cosmic, and we can become like a channel. We are channel to bring it, and also releasing some frustration into the. So we are also the tree. Tree does the same thing, but the human too, and human is the mobile version of the tree. So we can go to, my land.
But I mean, we, as a culture, like we wear shoes and we pave the ground and we do so many things to kind of compromise and disconnect that connection. So, like the people that study earthing, that appreciate and understand the power of the earth, and taking your shoes off and having your feet in the earth, and how the earth has the capacity to heal our bodies. Like us laying on the earth can help us repair our systems and our misaligned energy too. Walking in nature, going for hikes, why certain people feel like they really need to live in outdoor kinds of settings and get sick or unhealthy or unhappy, you know, living in a very humanoid kind of like closed in, disconnected. So it's interesting that you even that you recognize that particular conversation as you flew to Japan, like as you flew into the airport there.
And so this geometry
okay, so Emi has these little cards with geometrical shapes on them. They're beautiful.
And, those are another very special doctor from Japan. He used this for healing people. And you know Emoto, Masaru Emoto?
Yes.
He created,
and Masaru Emoto was The Messages in Water.
Yes.
So if you want to look up that and to see his work about photographing water as it crystallizes, and the impact that words and thoughts and energy has on that water. So go ahead.
So each vibration creates certain geometry shape. And so this doctor learned, also he was channeler, I believe. And so he put this like, this is good for the kidney. And also this is good for liver system. And he recommends to put this the showing the geometry outside and put it here, so similar energy is getting in and also soaking into your skin.
100%.
Okay.
So that's a really interesting science too.
But also the vibration is creating this right in the air.
So the vibration of the sound is creating the pattern that is the pattern of the geometrical shape
in the air.
And
actually, it's not 2D, more like a 3-dimensional.
Of course, 3-dimensional, yes.
And so when they use like Dr. Emoto's technique and make a 432 compared with 432 and 440. 440 created, 432 creates the symmetry, perfect geometry shape. 440 actually was fluctuated or broken or
distorted.
Interesting. So
interesting.
440, if you are listening 440 or anything harmonized to 440, is actually creating your body cells maybe a little bit off. That's my
like out of balance.
That's my understanding for using this. So and but the rock and roll music in America is based on 440. So that's people hear this not very comfortable because the ears are fixed with
the disrupted frequency.
That's
so interesting. And even like I know how my life and my story and my practice just listening to mantras instead of standard radio. Like I haven't listened to the radio since 1992, like forever, because just those frequencies weren't like helping me. Like listening to that was creating more agitation for me. And over the time now, I'll listen to mantras, and I have mantras going in the studio lobby, in my office at home. I play mantras at night, so that sound frequency is like a protected field that holds me in a better resonance. And so this is like this idea that sound is really powerful and frequency is really powerful, and we are energetic instruments that are influenced by these vibrations in our environment and in our tools, right? Like in our tools, either intentionally toward our betterment or, incidentally, we're kind of the victim of what society is throwing at us.
So use those forks around people's ear, especially at the end of the yoga class,
Yeah.
when we are on a Shavasana.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm a jolly apple seed. So one seed at a time, one person at a time.
Just another time, just kind of adjusting.
Yeah, so I see myself
Feeling
like
the world.
yeah.
Yeah, because you're your grandma's daughter, you're your grandma's granddaughter, this beautiful legacy that you carry. I can't tell you how much I appreciate just the insights and the ideas and the different ways you look at things. I'm so glad we had a chance to talk today, Emi. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for inviting me and allow me to talk about this because, when I do this, people are just like, oh, sounds good. And but we never get into so deep conversation. And you need certain education or knowledge to observe this, what I say. It's not about talking about I'm more above than you, but you need to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
It's that staircase to.
Yes, in order to appreciate.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
we really want people to appreciate it. So Emi's going to be offering a workshop on sound through the Teacher Tribe. So if you're a yoga teacher, if you're not a yoga teacher, and you're interested in a deeper conversation, this was the teaser.
Yes.
So if you're curious, the advertisement. So if you're curious, she's going to be sharing more. And yeah, she's going to be sharing some of the information, but I know that she also shares the experience, because sometimes that's the way that really we get our attention kind of captured and we open our mind up to new ideas, is through having an experience that's meaningful for us. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste, everyone, and thank you so much. Check the comments below for how to find Emi. She's really a delight, and Green is not too far to drive to practice with someone so wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.